Little video clip here, kind of what I'm doing, an introductory series on changing out your old TIM and ThermalPads on a new, or in this case, a 6 to 8 year old card. I've got some 1.5 millimeter ThermalPad here, 12.8 thermal conductivity. I have this one sectioned out, so after cleaning off all the contact points, you're going to want to make sure you use some rubbing alcohol and then use your handy dandy Data Vac to clean out any bits or dust that's left over. Also want to make sure you have gloves on. You don't want to get any of your body oils on the PCB itself. So I'm just sectioning these out. And it really doesn't take much. I usually start with all of the power delivery areas, capacitors, transistors, and then I move on to the memory. So I usually wait to peel off up until the very end so I don't forget any left on top. That would be a really bad scenario if you were to leave any of the plastic on top. Or on bottom. Just enough to cover up the memory module itself should be sufficient. You don't have to go overboard and cover up the entire thing. I mean, you could if you wanted to, it wouldn't hurt, but it doesn't really help either. And I've got a sheet of some 1 millimeter here for the rest. All right. And then I usually use a skinny little flathead here. Just kind of get under, just so it lifts up enough, and then kind of depress as I go along. I really like these Thermalright pads. Unlike the Fuji Poly that I usually favor, both sides of these thermal pads, they come off relatively easy and they don't stick like the Fuji Poly does. So I think moving forward, I'm going to go ahead and make these my primary. It just makes it so much easier when you're going to pull these off and it doesn't completely peel off the thermal pad from where you had stuck it. It makes it really hard. And then again, you know, the thicker the pad, the easier it is to play with. You start getting down to the 0.5s, they start to tear and do all that kind of crazy shit. It's even worse with the Fuji Poly. So working with 1.5 and 1 is awesome. You know, makes it a lot more efficient and get through it faster. So again, anybody watching, I know most of the guys on the site are pretty experienced, but if anybody stumbles across this video and they're wondering how hard or complicated it might be to take apart your card and replace it. And again, even under water, most of the EK stuff that's coming out, their thermal pads are what, 2, 3 thermal conductivity. And on these newer 3 series cards where the mem temps can hit, greater than 100 C, replacing these pads, even the ones that come with your water blocks, out to something like a 12.8 thermal conductivity pad, be a huge difference. I imagine, anywhere from 10 to 20 C, especially at the higher ends. So with all of the pads down, I picked up some MX5. I've always used MX4. It's a trusty paste, spreads very easy, and I thought that I would go ahead and give the MX5 a try. It was the first time that I had seen it, so I was pretty excited. And there's all kinds of methods out there for P, and you can do the X, especially on GPUs. I tend to like to just spread it and clean up excess. And that will do it. All right, so there you go. That's where I'm at. That's what I've been doing all weekend. I actually ran short. I had only picked up 3 of the 1.5 pads. I've got 7 more on the way for all 10 cards that I have, and 5 of them are going to be going underwater, and the other 5 will remain on air. These ones that I'm doing today are going to be staying on air. So that's it.